Martin Odegaard to Arsenal draws closer. But is the James Maddison deal dead? Is it buried? Is it finished? There are some reports claiming that he is now deemed too expensive. There is a £20 million differential between Martin Odegaard and James Maddison, and that is why Odegaard is going to be the focus. Dean Jones told us earlier today that there may even be the potential to get Odegaard for the next year on a loan deal without having to pay anything for at least 12 months, matching and suiting the financial restrictions that Arsenal are now starting to very quietly leak out into the media. But I want your views and opinions. Martin Odegaard, James Maddison, who is the number one choice? Who do you believe is going to come in? Could we still see Houssem Aouar join Arsenal this summer? And of course, this all is on the, not even the eve, it's on the day of Arsenal's opening match, the start of their campaign away at Brentford, newly promoted, exciting, maybe a little bit of a dangerous team from West London to go up against in a derby on Friday Night Football. We, of course, are going to be live after that game here on the Football Terrace, but Arsenal have suffered a blow ahead of that game. No Thomas Partey, no Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, no Lacazette. Their two most recognised strikers, their best central midfielder out for this game. There seems to be turmoil amongst the fans with people going after in large numbers today the likes of Edu. We can already sense and feel that if tonight goes wrong, Arteta out may be trending. Hit that like and that share button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. This is the chance for you to have your say. The link is already shared in the live comment section. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling, Gooners. Rivals get involved as well. You know what comes next, people? Let's go! Welcome back. Odegaard updates, Maddison updates, no fit strikers. Also, no Gabriel tonight as well. I forgot about that in the opening. No Gabriel, the second best centre-back at the club behind, of course, brilliant Ben White. It's not a great start. It is not a great start for the Gooners, but we have a great start to the season today because he's been away for the majority of the summer. We don't do very many streams together anymore, but my partner in crime today, before we go to the calls and get Gooner Express on, he's been away for a while as well. Gunner Souls, we've got Gunner King coming on as well, plus more, taking more of your calls. I'm joined, of course, by the brilliant, the wonderful Adam Childs is back with me today. What you saying, brother? What you saying?
I'm all right, man. I feel like I should change my name. Gunner Ads. So many Gunner Souls, Gunner. I need to be Gunner Ads, surely. But no, I'm good. I'm very, very good, though, man.
Yeah, man. Good to have you back on, mate. It's been a busy summer for us all, and the season is kicking off now. But it doesn't feel like the best backdrop for Arsenal ahead of their campaign opener, does it?
Nah, it really, really doesn't. And that's because it isn't. Like, as you said, we've got so many injuries already. And it just seems to be something that plagues Arsenal consistently. Our summer transfer window, if you can call it that, hasn't gone to plan. So yeah, the backdrop, the context to the start of the season isn't great. And as we were saying beforehand, Brentford, they're going to be up for it. It's their first game in the Premier League. They're not going to be mugs. They're not going to be pushovers. Ivan Toney said, I think I remember reading an article saying he wants to hit like 20 goals this season. So I know he's going to be looking at Arsenal thinking he can bag a couple. Hello, living rent free. I've missed you too. But yeah, so it's not great, bro. And I'm nervous, I have to admit.
Absolutely. And the kind of big news today that's been circulating and doing the rounds has been very much around Odegaard now being the number one choice, bids being negotiated now. I was reading Sports Witness earlier that, they have alluded to the player is pretty much on his way back to the Emirates. How do you feel about that deal? Is that like, are you excited? Are you encouraged? Or do you feel slightly underwhelmed considering that Aouar's and the Maddisons that you've been linked with for large parts of the summer?
Yeah, I think it's underwhelming, if I'm being honest. I think whilst Odegaard did well, he did all right. He did all right when he was at Arsenal. He didn't kick on. There was nothing. There's no moment that I can think back on and be like, wow, he really did that. I think maybe Olympiacos, Europa League, but that's not really what we're signing him for. We want him to do stuff in the league. And again, I can't recall him having many standout performances. So yeah, and I think there is probably a case of it being a familiar name, the fact that he's been with us already. People want something fresh, they want the novelty, and because he's been at Arsenal once, like we're probably just thinking, oh, this guy again, why not go out and get Maddison, who's the fresh, new, shiny toy. So yeah, I think there's a couple elements at play, but I think he obviously does have creative talent. It's just about whether Arteta is the right person to get that out of him and to mold the team around to make sure that he's flourishing properly. And the more I think about it, is the more questions I have and the more I doubt it, man.
And where's your head at with this? You've got a number of journalists now, including Fabrizio Romano, stating that Maddison has never been close. Some suggesting that nothing was ever serious. Odegaard's always been the number one choice. And then you have outlets such as the AFC Bell, who I know is very well respected amongst the Arsenal community. You of course had Chris Wheatley, only a week, 10 days ago, talking about the first concrete offers being made into Leicester City. There's been approaches for Bernardo Silva turned down ever before you went in for Odegaard. There's a little caveat with Odegaard. People are saying, well, he wanted to stay at Real Madrid, so we didn't pursue him. And it's only now that he's changed his mind that we're going after him, but he was always the number one target. Where's your head at with this? Do you believe that it's always been about bringing Odegaard back or not?
I think in life, it's stupid to think that, or it's stupid to approach a situation not having a contingency plan. I don't know many things where people think, yeah, I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket and not think of a backup in case that doesn't go to plan. So I would imagine that Arsenal Football Club, or the negotiators being Edu, Arteta, would have highlighted a number of targets, of which Maddison was one, Odegaard was one, Aouar was one, and they would have tried to pursue the primary target, who I believe probably would have been Maddison. But when that was looking like it wasn't going to work out, they went to Odegaard, who was a capable and able second choice. So my head with the Maddison thing is, there's obviously going to be a British tax. We know that. Maddison is obviously a very, very good player. I think there's probably an element of some people comparing him to like Jack Grealish. I remember back in the day, people were comparing, or a couple of seasons ago, people were comparing those two. And I don't think he's quite at the same level there. But I think he's a good player, and I think he would do really well for Arsenal. But I don't think Arsenal's money would be spent well enough to bring him in when we have a series of other problems in the team that money could fix, like a right back, like a goalkeeper, like another central midfielder. But obviously we have to sell to be able to buy as well. So there's so many factors at play that mean that, or that would allow us to pursue those type of targets. And I don't think that Maddison is the right way to go when Odegaard was probably going to be there. And as I said, a capable backup for probably a more reasonable price. And Arteta knows him already and has worked with him, so probably trusts him that little bit more as well.
Yeah, I hear you on that completely. Pav here says, need a show with the original Fan Park Live OGs, Adam, HH, Neeks and Terry. Listen, they're all going to be featuring over the course of this season with the new stuff that we've got in the pipeline. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get the show on the road when it comes to these new ones. But yeah, that will definitely transpire at some point, 100%. Viewers, please smash that like and that share button. We're going to bring some more callers in very, very soon. Look ahead of tonight's game as well, what the expectations for Arsenal are. We are live after full time as well today. If you're new to the terrace over the summer, we match reactions for 99% of all the top 6 teams' games in the Premier League. We've got a great cast tonight. Loads of new people that have never featured on the terrace before making their way over as well. So really excited about that. So make sure you're with us 100% of the way. In relation to everything else this summer, I mean, have you been? Oh, actually, we do have some breaking news here, ladies and gentlemen. We have some breaking news here. I just think maybe, just maybe, Ødegaard has lost his mind a little bit here. Ødegaard has gone. Ødegaard has lost himself here. You see this here. Edu is a fraud. Ramsdale over Onana. Odegaard over Maddison. No player sales bar a few loans. No right back, no goalkeeper. I'm finding it hard right now to be optimistic for the new. This. Oh, have you ever seen Ødegaard this negative?
I've always said it. Gal is the most optimistic person I've ever met in my life. So for him to post that, he's at his wit's end right now, bro. He's at the end of his tether. So if he's feeling like that, that is a good barometer for how the rest of us Arsenal fans are feeling, because blood, yo. And he's in all caps as well, bro. He's shouting.
I know. I mean, he's pulling what hair he has left out of his head, bro. Like, legitimately, like, I get why he's frustrated. Like, I do get why he's frustrated, but at the same time, it's sort of like, bro, I don't know. I just see it come through. Someone sent it to me and I opened it. I was like, wow, Gao is raging ahead of tonight. Well, Harry, we're going to bring some other people in to have their say. Are you confident, though, at the start of this season? How are you feeling about Arsenal's chances this year?
I'm not confident. I think everybody was talking about how, or we tried to be optimistic and say that the fact that Arsenal don't have any European football is going to be good for us, means we can concentrate. The season isn't going to be as congested, meaning that we're going to have more time to train midweek. I think for any other club, those would be good things to have. But I'm just really beginning to question, not even question, I'm beginning to lose faith in Arteta. I don't think he's the right person to lead Arsenal forward. I don't know what alternatives there are. I don't know who I'd want to get in instead. But at this point, I'm not feeling confident, because he doesn't have the right tools in place in order for him to be successful. And if that's the case, then like why would I be confident? I know he doesn't want all of the players that he has there currently. I know he doesn't have all of the people that he wants. So I can't be confident if I know the person leading our team doesn't even have the tools in place to lead. Like I can't be confident, bro.
Do you know what's interesting, right? I do look at Ollie as being a more accomplished manager, a more experienced manager than Arteta. Do I think Arteta potentially has a high ceiling? Yes. He's already won a major trophy to add to that. But Ollie has each summer been given vast improvements on his squad. And our squad is now at a point, and I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans, as per this super chat here, that have said, Terry, are Chelsea planning any to get Tchouaméni or a DM? I'm not going to lie, we are light in that position. Today was the first time all summer whenever we've done videos linking up Chelsea to midfielders, I would say 95% of Chelsea fans have just said we're stacked in that area. You literally get the announcement today that Kante's got a bit of an injury and a bit of a knock, and it's like, oh my God, we've got to go out and buy someone straight away. Now suddenly, the idea of spending 60-70 million pounds on Declan Rice doesn't seem to be an issue. I'm not having to go at you, Adrian. I don't think you have a problem in there. All clubs will always have an area where you might feel a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah.
Man United don't have a DM. If Lukaku gets injured, who's the striker that's going to score the goals for Chelsea, as an example? City right now don't have a prolific goal scorer in their team in a central position anyway. Liverpool don't have any depth in their squad. So I'm not going to allow Man United to have excuses of, we haven't got a DM. However, when it comes to Arsenal, there's no right back. There's no cover. Well, there is cover at left back now. So you've got that area sorted. Centre back. I think centre back and left back are the only two areas of your team that I say are fine. Everywhere else, there is holes and problems in. And I would say, for me, I judge people on their work at the end of it. So I was very impressed with the way Arsenal started their summer transfer window.
Yep.
Encouraged by the way they went about things. But at the end of the day, it's about how you deliver. And what's really upsetting me is three things. One, how Arsenal Football Club are now starting to lie to their fans in the sense of Maddison's too expensive. Okay, so there's 20 million difference between Maddison and Odegaard. We know that Maddison would join Arsenal. We know that a 60-odd million pound bid gets him. But you're now not buying Ramsdale. So what you do with that 25 million pound that you just put forward for him, stick it on Maddison, bring him into the club. There needs to be a top level player. And I think if you end up with the Origi and Odegaard level players, they're not going to make a big enough. They're not going to move the needle enough. And I'm still stealing that phrase from Jess, to be fair, but it's a great one. The needle isn't going to move enough for Arsenal, and it's going to leave Arteta vulnerable. And when you have a manager like Arteta, a manager like Ollie, those vulnerabilities can be massively exposed. It's like the seam where your trousers go, and all it takes is one. It could crack at any moment and split open, and your ass could be on display. Do you know what I mean? We've all had that happen before. That's how I feel it is for Arsenal right now, and that's number one. The second area that's bothering me are the media outlets that are pushing these lies. We were never close to Maddison. We were never in advanced talks. You were literally £10 million shy of agreeing a fee. You bid 50, they want 60. So where this 20 million differential comes in, I don't know. The same journalist I've seen pushing this 20 million differential in his article I read a month ago said that they made a £50 million offer for him via intermediaries. It's the journalists that are pushing this notion that these have always been like, forget Maddison, forget Aouar, forget Bernardo Silva. Odegaard was always it. And I believe he was always a top target because I don't believe Arsenal felt they could land any of those other players. Like his number one centre-back target this summer was Pau Torres. And that's who we would have gone for. And then suddenly a better centre-back become available. So you adjust, innit? And it's only because, you know what I'm saying? If we'd have gone for Varane and missed out on him, and then gone for Pau Torres, don't spin me any bullshit that, Pau Torres was always number one. He was, and you changed your number one target. You went back to him. It's like having a solid 7 out of 10 girl at home. She loves you. She'd marry you tomorrow. You're about to propose. But then suddenly Michelle Keegan walks in and she's left Mark right. You're like, Terry, let's go out. Let's go out for drinks. And we're out drinking. We're dancing. We're getting on fine. And have the most amazing horizontal hula. Honestly, me and Michelle Keegan, it is like fire. And then I ask her to marry me, and she says, "Nah, mate, I'm going back to Marky boy. I'm going back to Mark. He's got a better six-pack, right?" And then I walk back to the 7 out of 10. I'm like, "You've always been my number one." No one believes that shit. And that is what's happening now to Arsenal fans. But the third reason I'm annoyed is the Arsenal fans that are lapping it up. Gimme. Honestly, bruv, lapping it up like $5 thingies. I'm not going to say that word, but do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just, why are you lapping it up for? Why are you lapping it up? Reject the journalists that are doing it and reject the club for pushing it out there. They are lying to you. If Arsenal put their money where their mouth is, they can sign at least one. Can they get Lautaro Martinez and Maddison? If you go back to that was going to be very hard to get them both, but one of them is doable. One of them is doable in my eyes without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm just sick and tired. And it isn't just Arsenal. Every football club does it. My club's been doing it since Fergie days with there's no value in the market. No, you lied to us. And I used to believe it all and I don't anymore. And the journalists are the worst ones. The journalists are the worst ones because they push it for their exclusives and we allow it. And it's so frustrating to me, bruv. So frustrating.
I hear you. But for me, I can see the confusion that you're sort of talking about there and the fact that they're trying to spin these lies is evident in what's in the media now. Because 1 minute we're in for one player, the one next moment we're in for another one. And it's just clear that there doesn't seem to be a strategy. There obviously is, but we're not being told that. And like you say, it's just a case of people needing literacy to media literacy to figure out what is being said and the ulterior motives behind it all. But yeah.
So someone said to me earlier on today, they were like, "Well, Terry, I don't understand your emojis or your phrases around transfers." I'm like, "Well, there is no universal pattern in the sense of." By the way, Tahir Khan, I missed your super chat, and he says, "We want Ødegaard back." Ødegaard is on later today, so he will be back. Sorry, I missed that. There was too many comments that came in before I got to put it up, my brother. I'm very, very sorry. Like my interpretation of the word advanced talks is different from 10 other. It's like the world-class debate. Like what needs to happen is I want all the journalists to come together at a summit and then put a dictionary definition in for what all the different phrases mean. And then I'll use those phrases. You will never see me twist or turn them. I'll use their emojis. I'll use their phrases. The problem with it is I had a row with someone on Instagram earlier today because they were telling me that my interpretation, if you're 5 to 10 million pounds away from agreeing a fee, the player wants to join, the player's pushing for the move, and the club you're talking to are willing to sell, That's pretty good. I don't know how much more advanced you could be without the deal being complete, bruv. do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And he goes, no, I would say advanced is when everything's been accepted and you're waiting on the medical. I'm like, but the medical is generally, for me, yeah, again, it's interpretation. But this is how they get away with it, because they just spin it in these different ways. They always leave things open-ended. And then they all have a little get out of jail free card. Do you know what I mean? And for me, it's like, stop pulling the wool over fans' eyes. The club were looking at this player, and in the end, they've deemed it too expensive, so they've gone elsewhere. That's it at the end of the day. And that's the bit where I want Arsenal fans, I want Chelsea fans, I want Man United fans to stand up against this nonsense and just be like, just tell it to us straight. You know, we all got, you know, the intermediaries. I was talking to an intermediary today. He hasn't done intermediary work for clubs for 3 years. And he says there isn't enough intermediaries now that are now FA affiliated and UEFA affiliated to cope with the demand from clubs that are using them to do their bidding in transfers, because the clubs want to be able to, like, they want deniability on everything. He said, honestly, it's become like a political nightmare where they can say, oh, I didn't do anything. Honestly, it's a madness out there, and fans are the worst, because we're the ones who allow this because we believe it, and we believe it because we always want to make our club looks good. But I'm not going to go Arsenal per se here. I'm saying in general, they all do this, and we've got to stand up against it. Got some super chats here. Odegaard did okay. Remember, he's only 22. Other than West Ham, he got injured at Norway versus Gibraltar. Jumper's knee before last season. Benefit of the doubt. Listen, I think he needs to be given the benefit. Look, if we're going to give Silva and Donny van de Beek another season each because they've got to adapt, then you've got to do the same thing there. Sorry?
What Silva are we giving the benefit of the doubt?
No, not Silva. Thiago Alcantara. Like, he's been given the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Deshane here says, Terry, I honestly don't understand what is happening to Arsenal anymore. I'm 50-50 on getting Maddison, but at this current point of time, it ain't good. Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel good right now. Grey Wolf Dinner says it's just the same at Chelsea this summer. Kunde is, in reality, is Chelsea's third choice, as we lost out on Hakimi and Varane. Also, Lukaku is second choice. I mean, I believe that to be absolutely. I saw that today. I did see that today, where Chelsea fans are, oh, did you listen to what Tuchel said about how much he loves Lukaku? I'm now starting to believe that we weren't really in for Haaland. And it's like, oh, come on. Stop. Like, stop, man. Stop, stop drinking the Kool-Aid and just admit it. Edu is on holiday, the man in charge of transfers. Yeah, that's terrible. That is terrible. Tahir as well says, Terry, with your financial background, at some point, can you please talk about UEFA's proposed new FFP change and how it will affect Chelsea? I will take a look at that and research. What I will probably do is get a football financial expert who works in that field to come on and explain it to us as well. We're going to go to some calls now. I want to get more people on to have their say. If you want to dial in, there is a link in the live comment section, but please hit that like button for us. We're talking Arsenal. We can talk other transfers as well. We're going to add a few new people in with Adam and myself now. We're going to throw in Gunnar Express. You've been waiting a while. Gunnar Souls as well and Gunnar King are all here with me. How's it going, gents?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
All good.
Long time no speak to some of you. It's been a long summer, but the Premier League is back tonight. And are any of you Gooners feeling confident? Are any of you feeling confident ahead of tonight's game at the very least?
Yeah, 100%. It's a promoted side. I'm sorry. Like, they've come up from the Championship. They play exactly into our hands. You've got to think about... It all comes down to the lineup, in my opinion. If a Martinelli's playing up top, I'm very confident we'll score. And I'm very confident we'll rip them. Because you've got to look at their style of playing the way we play. And that tells you enough to know whether you're going to beat them or if you're going to lose to them. They play a high press. And that's a Championship team coming to the Premier League that aren't going to bow down to the Premier League status and go, we're now going to not play the way we want to play. They've always done it. They spread their centre-backs apart and actually do play out the back, and that plays into our hands, especially if you're going to play with a team like Martinelli up top, Saka playing up top, and the only player who's probably going to be there that's not a forward presser is Pepe. And that's enough for me to press them, put them under pressure, especially it's their first game in the Premier League. They're going to have a buzz. I don't think they're going to be as focused as people are going to think. And I do think there's going to be vulnerabilities which are going to be targeted. And that's what I want to see. If Arteta has any hope, firstly, it's a must-win anyways. But stylistically, we have enough. We should be beating them, the right team. The only problem is, for me, I said Aubameyang plays this game and scores a hat-trick, because I look at it like Leeds last year play similar to what Brentford do. And Leeds, in my opinion, are a better quality team. They play high, they press high. And I think if you play someone like that to get in behind their defence, you have a good time. I don't understand why we're not confident of beating a newly promoted side.
You know, Aubameyang hasn't scored in pre-season, right? And you think they will score a hat-trick today?
But he didn't score all season, comes to Leeds and scores a hat-trick.
Aubameyang's not playing tonight anyway. He's
No, I know.
So.
Yeah. I think he was just saying if Aubameyang were to play, you said you think he would get.
I think he would bagged it. Yeah, I think he would have smashed it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
The reason why I say it is because even if you look at the lead up to Leeds, for example, he wasn't playing well, but he comes to Leeds. I knew that Leeds falls into his hands where the defense plays high, they like to press high, and that leaves gaps in behind where we should be able to like expose that. And Aubameyang is one of those players who's not a back-to-goal striker. Whereas with a lot of teams in the Premier League, that's what you kind of need. Or you need a Maddison to come in to help him do that, to help him go in behind. That's why we've seen Pepe not have the seasons that he's needed, because he's expected to play the system where he's back to goal first, and then where he's a runner, and Aubameyang's a runner. And there's certain teams, especially that play high lines, you need those runners to go in behind and play those and have a balanced structure, which is what we've got if Arteta wants to play it. But that's why I'm more confident without Lacazette and Aubameyang, because you're not going to get Lacazette and Aubameyang in the same team now. He's forced to change that. He's forced to play a system which is probably going to be more balanced, which isn't like Arteta. So I'm actually more confident that we don't have them.
I think what I wanted to say was sometimes things can be a blessing in disguise. Now, anyone that's watched Balogun, anyone that knows what Balogun's about, anyone that's seen his records at youth level, anyone that's paid attention to the fact that this season he's been given a squad number, the fact that half of Europe's top clubs were chasing him when they thought that there was an opportunity to get him when he wasn't going to renew his contract. Anyone that's seen any of these things will know that us renewing his contract, giving him a squad number and putting faith in him was not done without reason. Sometimes you get an opportunity due to unforeseen circumstances, and they can be the sort of opportunities you can take. It's been widely documented, the problems that Aubameyang's been having in pre-season and in the previous season. Lacazette has had some problems as well. Is he staying? Is he going? We don't know. But we do know that Balogun has been elevated to the first team squad status for a reason. And this is the sort of game that he could thrive in. You know, I think if you look at everything that Gunnar Saul said about Brentford's style of play, stylistically, their style of play playing into the hands of someone like Balogun, if he gets in behind their centre-backs, they are not catching him. They're not catching him. And all it takes is for him to take his opportunity to show the fans and the manager why they put confidence in him. And that lifts the whole team. That lifts the spirits of the team. And I think, you know, I'm backing him to start tonight up front. And I think Martinelli as well has got a big future. And again, the same applies to him as well. He's come back from the Olympics. He did very well at that tournament. Looks fully recovered and fit from his injury woes last season. And look, you know, it's unfortunate what's happening with Lacazette and Aubameyang, but this is the sort of opportunity that those two players could seize. And they look like they have the hungry sort of mentality that would acclimatize them to wanting to seize this opportunity against a newly promoted side.
Yeah, I mean, definitely interesting takes there. And I think some of those, what's interesting for me, looking from the outside in, the younger players under Arteta last season seem to perform better than your established stars. And we know that you're looking to, I mean, I've read various reports in the last week or so, some suggesting that we know that Lacazette could go. Dean Jones said to us earlier on, it would take a big offer to get rid of Lacazette from a club, both in terms of transfer fee and the salaries that they've got to make up. So it's a difficult thing to do. But there's also talk about the club being willing, if the right offer comes in, to move Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on. I'm not surprised by that. They're both on, what's Lacazette on? 150, 200?
180.
180. So 180 plus 3 to 350. You're talking 500 grand almost between them, give or take. Do you know what I mean? That 500 grand a salary a week. I mean, that could literally pay for Odegaard, Maddison, and Martinez collectively in terms of salary. Like, you could cover all those players and improve yourself and future-proof yourself. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. We have some super chats I've got to do here quickly, guys. This is from YUFC. It says, Terry, Arsenal never wanted to lose Odegaard in the first place. They tried to keep him, but he returned to Madrid. They wanted to keep him first choice. I agree with that take. That at the time, he was the first choice. But they veered away from it for better players. And they didn't get those better players. What I don't like is the spin of, but it was always the number one choice. It's, look, we went after some other. I don't know why clubs just can't come out and say, we really wanted James Maddison, but we couldn't get it done. But we've got a brilliant player here in Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard is going to know that football's a very small world when you're inside it. He's going to know they went after James Maddison. They can't lie internally. Players know this. And players don't even take it to heart like fans do. Just speak the truth to support. That's all I'm asking for from media outlets, especially. Speak the truth to the fans. I think they deserve it. Keenan here says, Aubameyang and Laka both out with mysterious reasons. Let's hope this is a sign of them moving on and us finally getting our transfer targets. Best news yet. I wanted to ask you that. I wanted to ask Gunner Express that. He disappeared, but he's back again now with us. Gunner Express is back. Do you think Aubameyang and Lacazette missing out is genuine illness and injury? Or do you think this could be a little bit of a ploy? Like, let's keep them fit so we can get rid of them in the next few weeks. What do you reckon, mate?
Well, when I saw it initially, especially with Aubameyang, I didn't think it's illness. He's been out a lot this season, or the last season, should I say, with just random illnesses. And I think obviously the malaria that definitely was malaria. He was obviously in hospital, etc. But there's been times when he's been missing training or missing games because of just random illness. And I just don't, you're a professional athlete. You're one of the most fit people on the planet in terms of just overall fitness levels. So you're not just going to pick up random illnesses all the time. Do you know what I mean? And with all the quarantine and stuff as well, I'm not, he's not going to be walking around going partying and stuff. So I don't really know where all this illness stuff comes from. I think with Lacazette as well, obviously we've openly said we're trying to sell him. So I think it is protecting the value. I think it's, especially with someone like Aubameyang, who has been awful in the pre-season. That's the only way of really saying it. If we keep playing him and playing him and playing him, and he keeps playing bad, no one's going to want to buy him. So I think it is that. I think it's also trying to, give opportunities to people like Martinelli and Balogun, who, for me, I think Martinelli right now is our best striker in terms of on form. So I'm not even bothered about those two players being out for whatever the reasons are. But I do think that there is definitely some sort of coincidence in there. If it is illness, it's illness. You can't do anything about it. No one could complain. People get ill, but I really don't think that is the case. I think there's something deeper in there, whether it be mentality issues, whether it be they've had a falling out with the manager or someone, something like that, or whether it is just simply protecting the value. But I just don't see it being the illness. But no one's going to find out really what the actual case is.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. As per what Dean Jones was saying to us earlier. Thank you here to the Daily AFC that shared this. Arsenal are likely to ask Odegaard to be on loan first as well, which I think is really interesting. And one of the reasons that he mentioned that he's going to look to ask for him on loan to begin with is Arsenal want to try and save as much money as possible year one to be able to invest elsewhere. And Tammy Abraham is certainly a big target for you. There's been no official approach between Arsenal and Chelsea at this moment in time, and not surprised by that, because that doesn't happen now until. That's the irony in it. This is I said about the PR element that's been spun quite a lot so far this season. We've all been told. I don't know if you guys, if you disagree, please disagree. Don't feel like you have to agree with me because it's my show. I feel like we've been told by so many top journalists in the last 6 months that clubs only tend to put official bids in now when they're sure the player wants to join, right? But yet they start putting official bids in and they get rejected, then walk away saying, well, it wasn't really serious. Well, it must have been serious enough for you to convince the player to join, for you then to put the bid in to be done. So we'll see what happens with that. Mr. Elmore here with a very generous super chat says, hey, Terry, John, is it John C? Is that how it's pronounced? John C. There we go. Honestly, I was talking to my team about this last night. That first name breaks my dyslexic. Like it makes my dyslexic brain worse. For whatever reason, it doesn't work. John C. There we go. I got it there. John C. Don't worry about Aubameyang and Lacazette being out. Opportunity to show talented youngsters tonight. Excited about Odegaard. Maddison obsession is odd. Lads, about Aubameyang. How would you recover from malaria? So I mean, that very much touches on what Gunnar was saying there. Gunnar Express was saying there, and I totally get that. In terms of the transfers, boys, when it comes to the striker option, I want to go to Gunnar King on this first. Who's your number one? Who do you like? Realistic number one choice for Chelsea to bring into Arsenal to bring into that position?
My number one choice went to Leipzig, Andre Silva. I think I would have much rather have had him for the price that they paid for him, the record that he had in Germany's league last season. And I know people are going to, I don't use that F word league tag. Yeah, I don't use that tag. You know, Sancho has just come to United from Germany. If you're a good player, you're a good player, right? He's a fully fledged Portuguese international. He got 28 goals, I think, in the German league last season, more than Haaland. Only Lewandowski outscored him. And I think for the 30 million euros that they paid for him, it doesn't really justify paying the English tax for Tammy Abraham when he has played, I believe he's played European football more at international level. And he just looks like he's got more pedigree about him. There's other transfers to be done. I mean, Eduardo at Celtic, he's in the last year of his contract. 15 to 20 million gets that done. We thought he was going Leicester until they got Daka. Fully fledged France international, has Champions League and Europa League experience with Celtic, available for half the price because you're not paying the English tax. I mean, Arsenal are quibbling about paying the extra 20 million for Maddison, but then looking at these smart transfers to be done in the face and not doing them. That's what baffles me, you know, like, because you look at it in midfield as well, you know, central midfield, we let Samari go to Leicester. Again, the circumstance alone of him being in his last year of his contract is what allowed Leicester to get him and Daka for a combined cost, of just over 40 million pounds. So we're quibbling about not having money, but then we're letting good quality players that are in the last year of their contract that circumstantially as a result are cheaper exponentially, that will increase in value the moment you give them a 4 or 5 year contract without even kicking a ball, just by the virtue of being tied into a contract, that because they've been playing at that quality kind of level. And we're just not going in for them, you know, like it's just Houssem Aouar. He's another guy in a similar boat. We were quoted 50 million euros plus a hefty agent fee for him last season. Quibbling about paying the extra 20 million for Maddison. Well, 20 million alone gets him. Yet we've just left him there the whole time. You know, it's just none of it make, like, the journalist aspect of it does bother me, Terry. Yeah? But what bothers me more is stuff not adding up. You know, like if the money's not there, and you're not coming out and being real about saying, look, we haven't financially, we can't go out and do these big boy transfers. It's one thing not saying that, but it's another thing looking at these kind of gift sources in the mouse, these givens, and then still, you know, Ben White is a great player, don't get me wrong, but I would have much rather 50 million was taken and 40 of it was spent on Basuma than Ben White. You know, but the centre-backs that we had at the club at the time, I think would have, I didn't think needed addressing as much as a central deep-lying midfielder. So this is, it's more like the nonsensicalness of what the hell is going on, you know, like with how we are spending the money we do have than the fact that our funds are limited.
I totally get where you're coming from there. We have some breaking news that we've got to go to now in relation to Tottenham and a pursuit of a player that they are after. Villarreal accepted Tottenham's offer of 45 million euros plus 5 million euros add-ons for Pau Torres, but the player has rejected Tottenham Hotspur, and he stated that he has a desire to play in the Champions League. Tottenham Hotspur have been rejected by the second two defenders now this summer. The first one, of course, being Jules Koundé, that is linked with a big money move to Chelsea Football Club. According here to Zach Lowry, Villarreal centre-back Pau Torres has rejected a move to Tottenham Hotspur. This is breaking news this afternoon. I did see some rumours earlier that the deal was closing in and maybe going to be close, but the player looks like he said no because of no Champions League football. Big blow that. Massive blow that. We're going to go and see what the panel's got to say soon. We're going to change some of the callers very soon as well. Make sure you hit that like and that share button, people. Guy, what do you make? What do you make of that? Just changing the subject. I know they're your North London rivals, but Tottenham, they're being rejected.
Where's the lighter so you can smoke that Spurs pack, baby? Where's the lighter? Because that's just beautiful to see, man. I think I've got a couple of Tottenham friends, or friends that support Tottenham, and for some reason they think they're in a better position than Arsenal. When their main striker wants to leave, he didn't turn up for training. They've got a BTEC Mourinho as their manager now, and they just think that they're on stuff, and so stuff like this it just brings a smile to my face because Tottenham, no matter what, are gonna be worse than Arsenal, and that's fine by me. But yeah, man. Pau Torres, I think he's a good player, and the fact that he's not going because they haven't got Champions League football is it's fantastic to me, bro. Well,
and Joe, it's interesting. You got to think about it from Arsenal's point of view. Maddison and Martinez would join Spurs as well, but both those star players would join Arsenal. I think Arsenal have more pulling power than Tottenham without Champions League football.
Yeah, of course we do, Terry.
You do,
of course.
I'm not even. I'm not saying it because I'm surrounded by Arsenal fans. Because if I thought you didn't, I'd say it straight. I mean, you've got to have more pulling power than Tottenham. Like your Arsenal Football Club. Super chat here says, imagine if Man United sold a youth prospect who was scoring goals for fun on loan. The Willock sale is so anti-Arsenal, a club who is about youth. I have to say again, I'm going to speak like I'm a gooner now. Arsenal have just finessed £25 million out of Newcastle. Willock did. Do you know what Joe Willock? I remember. I swear there was a season, right? Ricketts. He used to be a midfielder. I think he was a midfielder in the Prem when I was a kid called Ricketts, and he went on this little run in the mid-90s where he scored like 7 or 8 goals in 10 games, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, he's turned a corner." And then I think he must have scored about 7 goals in his next 7 seasons. I'll put this bet on now. £50 to charity. Joe Willock doesn't score more than 7 Premier League goals in the whole season this year at Newcastle. Flash in the pan moment.
No, I agree. It's a purple patch, man. It's similar to Lingard. Like, he's a great player, but in terms of the goal scoring, you got to look at the system that he's in the 5 at the back, 2 midfield. He doesn't have to defend at all. He has a lot of space and time playing at Newcastle. And they're going to get worse this season, let's be honest. Like they weren't great last season, but they're going to be even worse this season with the upgrades that people around them are making and the lack of money that Newcastle are spending. I like Joe. He's a gooner for life. I'll always accept that, and I hope that he does well, and I hope that he proves me wrong. But I only see it as a purple patch, man. 7 goals in 7, 8 games. It's great, but can he replicate that? I heavily doubt it. So I'm happy with the money that we've got. And I'm happy that we're selling youth players, because that's something that we have to start doing now, is losing that sentimental value and selling youth players that don't fit the system or just aren't good enough. Like, look at Chelsea. Guehi, they just sold. I think they Livramento has obviously gone to Southampton. They're beginning to sell youth players, making that money back, and it's helping them buy players like Lukaku. So we need to start doing the same thing. Otherwise, we're not moving like a big club, because that's what you have to do, is lose that sentimental value in youth players.
No, I totally agree. Gooner Express, Gunner King, Gunner Souls, thank you all very much for coming on. And I know that some of you, I think all of you, all but 2 of you. I know that Gunner King is, of course, on Jess's channel tonight at full time. The rest of you boys, I know you're on my match reaction show later. So thank you very much. And I'll speak to you guys later tonight.
Yeah, big up, man.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to refresh the panel a little bit. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. Gunner King, top man as well. Thank you, brother. And I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. We're going to get a few more people on in just a few moments. Going to add Jess into the stream. David's coming. Young Samuel's going to be with us as well to talk about this. The big breaking news this afternoon is Tottenham have been rejected by Pau Torres Arsenal have got some big injuries ahead of their opening game tonight at Brentford. We're talking James Maddison. We're talking Odegaard. Make sure you smash that like button for us. Let's get this past 500 likes while we're on the air, please, ladies and gentlemen. Get those super chats in, and please sign up to the membership as well. We're 1 week away, by the way, from the launch of Unit 7, the brand new home of the Football Terrace. The Friday night show is going to be on fire. Over the next week, we're going to have an ex-pro on the show. We're going to have some games, some challenges. I'm going to have my co-presenters there with me. Javern is back.
Come on.
The J-Dog. J1 back in the house, people. So members, by the way, if you're a first team member or a Legend and Super fan, we've invited you onto the show. We put it on the community page today. I've only had a couple of responses so far. We will open it up to the wider team later on down the line. We want to get about 20 of you in the studio live. We're going to be doing a big build-up on that show to Arsenal versus Chelsea as well. So we need you there for it. We need you to get involved. So sign up to that membership now as well. We're going to be bringing in, as I said, David, Jess, Samuel going to be with us in just a few moments' time. Hit that like and share button, people. Let's go. Well, okay, how you doing, people? You all good?
Nope. The season has started, and guess what? We're even worse than May. This is the worst team that we had in May. This was meant to be a big summer rebound, and we end up worse. Probably tonight we're going to see Willian in a false nine. Willian playing false nine. He's still at the club. Hector Bellerin's still at the club. It's a mess. I'm on it, Terry. It's a mess. We are a shambles right now. Get ready. This is going to be a long season. It starts tonight.
Jess. Is it that bad, really?
Samuel, I love you, but that's just so over the top. I can't. We're definitely not worse. I think that's a stretch. Have we gotten good enough, or have we hit the expectations that we thought we should? No. I said earlier that I think that we do need to criticize the club. Like, what they're doing doesn't actually make a lot of sense. And when you have players like Maddison and Martinez that are willing to come to your club, you make it happen no matter what. But what I don't like is the binary from the Arsenal fan base. So Odegaard is like the worst player ever. He's not. And if we get him for 35 million, it is what it is. But we still have not addressed the key issue, which is the central of midfield and that double pivot. Having Xhaka there, I mean, essentially Thomas Partey, when he's fit, Xhaka and Odegaard is exactly what we had last season. It was better than how we started the season, but still not good enough really to challenge for top 4 or anything like that. So basically the club has kind of showed us what their ambitions are, so we know it's not top 4. So take that, were you ever really that convinced that they were actually going to go out and do it? I'm not sure. I said from the beginning, we wouldn't get Martinez. There were just too many issues, too many roadblocks. We were never just going to do it, so yeah, it's stressful. It's not the best way to start the season, but to say that we're worse, I think that's a stretch.
I'll tell you what isn't worse. My new graphics. Thank you very much, Sam, who made them for us today. Absolutely loving them. Absolutely loving them. We've got more to come as well. Just getting started. David, obviously you're a rival. We haven't had many rivals so far. Do you think Arsenal are in a really bad position to start the campaign, or do you actually think that that's an overreaction from young Samuel?
I mean, it depends what they define as really bad. If it's what they've been used to for the past 2 seasons.
I'm very sorry. I've got to interject because Leaf has put in maybe the greatest comment ever in Football Terrace history. He says, "Jess, you're very beautiful, and I'm gay." I just don't know why that made me laugh so much. Leaf.
Thank you.
What I'm going to say is this, Leaf, my brother. One man's just come out live on the internet. Top guy. I love to hear that. I love to see that. There's a compliment there for Jess as well. But yeah, sorry, that made me die. It just made me laugh. It's just, and I'm gay. Like, so you don't say things like, when you get like a Man United player will do something really nice, like Rashford feed kids, and you'll get someone say, "I've got so much respect for him, and I'm a Liverpool fan." It's like, you don't need the end bit, just need respect for him. I love it. I absolutely love it. Sorry, David, back to you, mate. Back to you, bro.
Are they going to be worse than last season? You would hope not, because I don't think it can get much worse. However, I've been listening for the past couple of minutes, and I've just been hearing a load of positive waffle It doesn't make sense. I mean, I heard people saying Martinelli had a good Olympics when he played 75 minutes and scored a pen, and that Balogun was chased by Europe's top teams, and he was being chased by Rennes and Strasbourg and people like that. So I again 8th, 7th. If they get back into Europe, I think they call that a success. That's me though. That's me. I'm not sure what these guys are saying, but if they get back into Europe, I think it's been a successful season. But they're too far. They're just too far gone. They're just their actual rivals are now Aston Villa and them people there. So have fun. I'm sure you'll come out of it, and then when you come back to the big boys, we can have that conversation. But this season, it's not it. It's not it.
But yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, mate. Like, I think Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know whether I call it struggling anymore, though. Like, Arsenal coming 6th is a good season for Arsenal in your current predicament. Not the history of Arsenal, but it's good.
The thing is, I don't know if we can even say that, because I look at when Chelsea had their season without any European football. What did they do the following year? I swear you guys won the league or something like that.
But again, that's context though, because we won the league the season before. Then we dropped to 10th. So it was already a Champions League, like a championship winning team. This Arsenal team,
not a champion league or championship winning team. So there's got to be some kind of balance applied. But to say top 6 is now a success when our squad before was a top 6 squad, it's like just achieving the bare minimum with no distractions. I think we should be doing a little bit better than top 6. But then, of course, you have to consider, if we don't get rid of the players that aren't good enough and get in better players, then are you going to be able to make that improvement? So again, there's so many sliding doors, so many factors. And I guess top 6 is the aim, and it's just dead.
Again, for me, it's like Ben White. I think again, I'm one people are like, oh, David don't rate Arsenal. No, I just don't rate bad business. I think Ben White is a really good player. I think he's got potential to be really good. Do I think he's worth 50 mil? No, but he's English and he had a long contract, so them overpaying makes sense. However, the way Arsenal fans were talking about how important David Luiz was to their system, is Ben White coming in like that much of an upgrade? I have to really sit there and think, because these men were telling me without David Luiz, he's this, that, he pings the ball here and there. That, like, Ben White's good, but he doesn't have the passing range of David Luiz. So you're obviously going to have to change up your system to suit in the new players. I don't rate Gabriel that highly. You don't have a right back. I mean, you have Bellerin, but everyone hates Bellerin.
What you said right was right the first time. We don't have a right back.
Tierney's a good left back. I don't think he's as good as Arsenal fans think he is, but he's a good left back. However, he can be amazing. However, he only plays 15 league games a season. So you've got another 23 with no left back as well. And this Tavares kid, he's good. But you played against Tavares, and I didn't hear anyone talk about Tavares. So
that doesn't really mean anything, though, does it? That's kind of a reach.
No.
Let's just we're going to put that in the reach category there. Just because you didn't talk about him, that means
but if he was class, you guys would have been like, oh, that Tavares. Like, someone would have said something. I had never heard of Tavares kid before.
David, add context to that. He's a young player. He's really a developmental player. Like, let's be real. I mean, I get it. Like, pile on Arsenal. I freaking get it. But like, sometimes like a little bit of context goes a long way. Just because we didn't look at Tavares and say, oh my God, he's amazing, doesn't mean we don't have a left back in the season if Tierney gets injured. I mean, that's the equation that you're putting together.
But my thing is, are you confident enough in Tavares to fill in those games where Tierney's not there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, he's a decent little kid.
Okay, he's decent. Okay,
young Samuel just said decent little kid. Samuel, bruv. He's old enough to be your dad, bruv.
Come on. No, but what we can all agree on, this Edu is a mess. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, this guy should go. He should go. My man's in Mallorca, right? We're a mess right now. My man's chilling in a yacht in Mallorca. Is this a joke? What the hell is my man doing?
So that's the part where I could get behind it, Samuel. I can't get with the whole, like, we're worse than we were last season, blah, blah, blah. I can't really get with that part. But yes, Edu, I never liked him, and I thought we should have sacked him before. He really should have even had the job, right? But are we surprised that he's unable to get deals over the line? No, he didn't get them done last season. I mean, if you look at the last year's transfer window, it's quite similar to this one. Get a little bit of easier business done towards the beginning / middle, and then get linked to really good players, Thomas Partey and Aouar. One falls through massively, and then at the very end of the transfer window, you're walking into where one of the banks, like in Madrid, with a briefcase to get Thomas Partey. That's how this is. I mean, he'll look at it as a win. He'll say that he got our attacking midfielder, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's just not good enough. This is his style. Like, this is what he does. He gets us, we're linked with big players because he's arrogant. It falls through. He tells journalists to act like we were never talking to these players, and then moves forward. He's a huge issue. I think he's a bigger issue than Arteta, because self-sustaining model, Cronkies are never going to put money in. We have to be able to sell players and bring in good players. And he doesn't have that ability. And I find him really arrogant. Do I have an issue with him going on vacation? No, but I have an issue with the results that we're getting. It's just not good enough. You know, you're linked with Maddison. You're about to spend 25 million on Ramsdale. Why not just add the money for Ramsdale to Maddison to get him over the line? Because that nullifies having Xhaka and Thomas Partey only in your midfield. When you have Odegaard there, we're talking 6th place max with that midfield. So I get the Edu part. I really, really do. That's the criticism that I have is, why are we letting this guy drive us into the ground? Like, I'm not going to give him flowers because he sold Willock. That's freaking obvious. Anybody could do that. You know, but what about all the other players that are still sitting there? Didn't we have a bid on the table for Lacazette last season from AS Roma? I think we did. Why is he still here? He's the main reason why we can't go get Martinez, because Lacazette's still here and the guy's freaking sick on the first day of the season. Like, it's just, Edu is horrendous. Like, he is a huge issue. He's very arrogant. He's not good enough. And I think, yeah, he needs to go, like, more than Arteta. He's holding us back massively.
I'll tell you what.
Sorry, Sam. Do you know what stands out in what you're saying there? Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward's name. No, but it gives me Ed Woodward vibes. We know who Liverpool's sort of head honcho is when it comes to transfers. That's because he's been praised so much for that kind of money ball approach that Liverpool went with. But you only learned his name after they were winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues, and it was being explained what they did in terms of their approach. Edu, it's like Woodward. We only know of him because of stupid things. He's always in the paper for the wrong reason. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's like you shouldn't know who he is. He should be doing his work in silence. This year, you know, Man United have moved very, very well. Why? Because it isn't Ed Woodward at the driving force of this. Is other people now, and that I agree completely. He is a massive problem for your club. He isn't good enough to do the job, and be absolutely right. He's got two really important things on his side here. Well, one really important thing on his side: the media. The media print stuff. I've just been sitting here reading comments while it's going on. There was a big Arsenal account that said, who knew that Arsenal were never really that serious about James Maddison? And then they're quoting in all the big journalists going, "Oh, this guy knew. Look, he said it the other day." It's like, how are you all falling for this? Like, legitimately, don't allow the wall. Because my point is this, and I'd love to question some of these journalists about it. If they were never serious about Maddison, then they would have known 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks ago when the rumors were circulating that Maddison was being offered double his salary. Maddison would like to join. There's rifts at Leicester. These bids via intermediaries have gone in. Why at no point when those stories were out did these tier one journalists come out and say that story is a cast iron lie? Arsenal have no serious interest at all in Maddison. They're not going to make any bids. This deal 100% isn't going to happen. Why were they silent? Because it could have happened, and there was no way they were going to do that. If it's all now true that Arsenal were never really serious about these players, why did nobody say it ahead of time? Why are they waiting for after the fact to come out and say things? They're doing it because Arsenal Football Club are briefing them to say that. Now, it's not so much the journalist's fault. The journalists are going to print what they're being. If a journalist gets phoned up by Edu, and Edu says ABC, it's the journalist's job to present that to you. It's your job as fans or our job as football supporters to read it and go, that don't sound right. But we don't. We lap it up. We get on our knees and go, whoa. Anything that makes my club look good, it bothers me. Not just because it's happening here to Arsenal. Said it earlier on in the stream. I get bothered when any club falls for this nonsense. I fell for it for years, and the greatest manager of all time made me fall for it when he used to say things like, we're not buying anyone this summer because there's no value in the market. That's when we were turning down Aguero for 27 million quid. We were told that's too expensive. Like, you look back now in hindsight, you know you were being lied to. I don't believe any of it anymore. It's absolutely crazy. You're bang on, Jess. Young Samuel, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. I want to get a couple more callers on. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, bro. James is with us now. James is a gooner. What are you saying, James?
Yo, what's good, everyone? I don't know how to feel. I mean, I replied to your tweet about Arsenal being incompetent, and we are. Like, everything, well, not everything we've been doing screams incompetence, but the latter half of the transfer window screams incompetence. And as Jess said as well, it's giving me PTSD to last summer, where we started off well and then nothing, and then Thomas Partey on deadline. Like, I don't get it, how we can be progressive in what we were doing. I've been on other shows previously where I was optimistic, like 2 weeks ago when we were talking about Lautaro Martinez and James Maddison coming in, me being delusional and going, yeah, okay, these are good signings that I'm happy we're linked to. It's going to be hard to get them over, especially the Martinez deal. But the Maddison deal is there to be done if we put the money on the table. We're just not doing it. And I think when you have a project like Arsenal, and it is a project, I'm not going to be delusional, we're mid-table at the moment. We need to reset and rebuild. To have this type of project with a young manager, that's fine. But when you have inexperience throughout, especially with Edu as well, you're seeing the incompetence, what is Arsenal's staff trying to get deals over the line. And I'm not mad about the Odegaard deal. If we're talking about Odegaard as a sole player, bringing him in for the price we're looking at bringing him in, that's fine. But it's the fact that we're comparing him to James Maddison, who we've been in for a substantial period of time, and that's the issue I have with it. So I don't know what to feel right now. I think Odegaard's signing would be positive, but compared to the targets we've been after,
if we had never known about Maddison,
yeah, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we would have just said that's our number one target and that's all we're going for, then you set your expectations in a certain way. It's like almost like Edu doesn't rate us like as a fan base. He actually doesn't. I believe like at one point he said, why did people expect us to sign Messi? Nobody expects you to sign Messi. We expect you to do your job. Like, he talks down to the fans. Like, he acts like we're stupid. We're not dumb. And for him to just go and try to, like, he tries to bully Leicester into taking 50 million plus one of our players that don't even fit their system and they wouldn't want anyway. Who are you to go and try to bully Leicester, a team that doesn't have to sell their player? Be real. If you were never going to do what was possible or like do what was required to get that player, which was always going to be overpaying. Always. It was always going to be like 65 to 70 million. If you freaking knew that, then just say you don't have it and just go get Odegaard from the beginning. Like, I don't understand why he does this. That's why I say he's freaking arrogant. This guy is like, I told you he's a madman. I can't. But yeah, he's arrogant. And if you just had never said Maddison from the beginning, then our expectations would never be that.
And this is,
go
on, David. Go on, mate.
I was going to say, but my thing is that, again, I'm against bad business. Is Odegaard really the answer? Personally, for me, I thought he started off quite well, and then towards the end, he just started tailing off into where you'd think he's probably going to sit for most of his career. Like, he's good. He's good, but he's okay. So
does he get action time just like Havertz?
When Havertz scored a Champions League winning goal, so
it's just one goal. Come on now.
Levels to this game.
Come on now.
Levels.
No, but let's use reality
levels.
though.
There are levels that I respect it.
You're making an assumption about a player based on like
Odegaard came in, and when he came in, everyone was like, "This is Odegaard. He's amazing. He was really good, and he started off quite well." But then towards the end of the season, what you started to see, even though Arsenal's form was going up, was that his form started dipping towards an average.
He got an injury, David.
It's still injuries. I don't really care. I just don't think
so we're not using
that price. He's good enough. I think you are better served. Like, honestly, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Waiting and go for Maddison. If Maddison's a genuine option, you wait until you have that money and then you go for Maddison. You've just sold Joe Willock, and unless you're going for Ramsdale, which is what I predicted yesterday, which I think is actually going to happen, unless you're not going there, then you really should be putting that money towards Maddison because he's a very clear upgrade. Odegaard will come in. Is he that much better than? Again, I think he's better than Smith Rowe, but is he that much better than Smith Rowe where it's going to boost you to that next level? I don't think so.
He has a high ceiling. What are you even saying? Like, I don't understand this argument about Odegaard's issue is that he's not as far in his development as Maddison. It's not about talent. Yeah. It's going to take him longer to get there. So that means it slows down our project. Like, it makes it so that we're looking at our players hitting their peak at the same time in 2 to 3 seasons. That's an issue for us. But to say Odegaard is not the answer because he kind of fell off towards the end of the season when everybody's saying that all of your players needed adaptation time, but Odegaard doesn't even came halfway through the season, I'm not buying that. Like, I'm really not. Odegaard for 35 million is definitely worth it. If we're paying 50, yeah, we're diluted. But like, let's not over freaking do it. Like, you're overcooking it like really badly. Like, it's actually burnt. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. It's too
Viewers,
much.
listen, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions on that. Egal is now joining us on the football terrace. Mate, we've seen your rant, we've seen your frustration, we've seen the cap locks today. You seem broken before the season's begun, Egal.
Oh no, I can't.
Listen, I don't echo just his thoughts on Odegaard in the sense that I don't see him as the signing that we need. I think if we're going to get a signing, we need somebody who we know is going to come in and has done it before and is of an age that can grow. Odegaard is of an age that he can grow, but my issue is not with the Odegaard signing. I prefer James Maddison. And if you're going to waste your whole summer going after targets and constantly changing your mind, constantly wasting time on individuals that have no plan on coming to Arsenal. We've done this the whole summer. Now I get it. You're gonna try to seize opportunities, but we wasted time with the situation with Ramsdale. We still don't have a goalkeeper. The whole summer we've been trying to get rid of a right back. We don't have a new right back, and we're going to be going into the season with Callum Chambers, Bellerin, and Socrates. Why did I say Socrates? Cedric, right? Then you have the situation where we have the midfield. We signed a new deal with Granit Xhaka. I get it. I'm not one of those people who are so upset about Granit Xhaka leaving because I'm okay with Granit Xhaka staying. But when you're trying to sign a midfielder the whole summer and we're hearing about Basuma, Neves, all these other guys, why don't you get the necessary problems sorted out first instead of going for a striker in Martinez, wasting your time with the Martinez deal when we still have Lacazette and Aubameyang? I don't know what's going on with our recruitment. I don't know what's going on with our priorities. The fans and the club do not share the same priorities. That's the biggest issue for me. We need a center midfielder. We need a right back. We need to sell Bellerin and some of these guys that are in our right back slot right now. But you know what we've been doing the whole summer? We've been going for areas that we don't need solved. Yes, you might have other priorities. Yes, Ben White is a good player. He was not my number one option. My number one option was always, Terry, to get a midfielder, always to get a right back, always to get a backup goalkeeper for Leno. At this point, we're going into the season. If Leno gets injured today, you know who our backup goalkeepers? It's Runnerson and Arthur Akonku. If something happened to Smith Rowe, who is our number 10? We don't have a number 10, right? We don't have a backup to Smith Rowe. Odegaard comes in, yes, he can be a backup, but I don't want a backup. What I want somebody who can push Smith Rowe and is better than Smith Rowe. I've already said this on numerous occasions. I personally think Smith Rowe is a step above Odegaard. We've seen it at the back end of last season. Smith Rowe can play many different positions, and he brings more to the table in our attack, creativity, and everything else. I am not upset about the situation that we find ourselves in. I'm upset at the lack of planning, the lack of organization, the lack of just football awareness when it comes to building a team. How do you look at this team and say to yourself, this is perfectly fine to go into the season? It makes no sense. There's still time in the window. You can change my mind. But at this point, I do not trust Edu. I do not trust the people who are running this club. They frustrated me all season because I'm the one backing you guys. I'm the fan putting myself out there saying, yo, James Maddison's happening. I hope it happens. I'm thinking it's going to happen. It's just a mere feeling. But guess what? It's probably not going to happen. It's probably, and if it does happen, it will be a last minute signing like Thomas Partey. And we should not get excited as fans over one signing. We need to solve a lot of problem areas, and they're not going to get solved in this window. And I thought they were, but this 13 deals, what happened to the 13 deals? Honestly, why do journalists lie to us? Stop lying to us. Stop pushing out stuff that the club wants you to push out. If it's not true and you don't have the real facts and evidence that these things are going to happen, why even push out false narratives? You're selling us hopes and dreams, and then when it doesn't happen, this is what happens. I honestly don't know why I get myself worked up anymore. It's just ridiculous.
Do you really think?
I really, really do. Smash that like and that share button, ladies and gentlemen. Very important to the football terrace that you hit that like button right now. We haven't looked at the poll in a while here. It says, is the James Maddison deal dead for Arsenal? 56% say no still on that, which is very, very interesting indeed. John C here with a super chat says, David, you do sound like a broken record, mate. Odegaard is Norway's captain for a reason. Is what he's saying there. Wayne,
that's not a barometer.
I like you, but you're wrong, my brother. We needed a number 10. Odegaard is not a backup. Emil Smith-Rowe is not a step better than Odegaard. That's ridiculous. We have solved a lot of problems, is what he's claiming there. Grey Wolf Dinner says Odegaard is class. I'd take him at Chelsea. We have another super chat that says Odegaard is a creative player and will get the ball into the box and will score more goals, and he is still very young. He's still a very young player indeed. We do have some breaking news in a minute to bring you as well. 888 Sports, it's in the game. I did see your comment earlier, Adam, where he said that's if Arsenal do finish 8th this year, yeah, 888 the betting casino as a sponsor would be great. That would be funny. We do have some breaking news to bring you here from Fabrizio Romano. And that breaking news, as you can see here, is relating to Eduardo Camavinga. His agent, Jonathan Barnett, has spoken about today Man United, Real Madrid, and PSG's chances. He said it's still too early to make a decision on his future. Camavinga doesn't rule out to wait until next summer and pick his club as a free agent. The race is open. Very much so what Dean Jones has been telling us for the majority of the summer, that Camavinga, his preference has always been Real Madrid or Barcelona, but mainly Real Madrid. He is more than likely to stay in France for at least another year. A little bit like the Pogba situation. Committing now could be a problem for him. Where are Real Madrid going to be at in a year? You know, is there space for him to develop right now at Paris Saint-Germain? Pogba went there as an example. Man United the right club for him at this point. You know, he doesn't really want to move to the UK right now. So that deal is where it is. No problems with that one at all. Let's do some more of your comments that have come through here. Where's that gone? Where's this gone here? I'm not reading that comment out, but it did make me laugh. I love some of these comments in here. You're right now, Gal. You calm down, bro.
I want to ask Jess and the other gentleman. I think you're
Arsenal. Before you do that, James, mate, thank you very much for coming on today and having your say. Really appreciate that, bro. Top man. Thank you. KJ's joining us now to have his say. But yeah, ask your question away, bro.
Jess, do you trust Edu and these guys? Or are you also like completely like baffled by this whole?
I already said I never wanted Edu. I've always wanted him gone. He's not good at his job. Like, he's actually a joke. Like, I don't know why people thought that he was going to have this stuff done. Like, the way he ran last window was like, oh, I got parties. See, I did a good job. He does not rate us. He thinks we're stupid. I don't trust him. I never did. We need something better there. Like, we deserve better than Edu, with a suspect record, no real experience, no connections in Europe, using key adaptation to funnel dead players into our club on high wages that we can't get rid of. No.
We've been through that as already. I don't know if you saw it again. Jess has already had her big old rant on that one today. But KJ joins us. KJ, I want to ask you, are Arsenal ready for the start of this season?
Hell no, bro. Like, this is peak for them, fam. Like, all right, listen. I did say that I believed that Arsenal would go and have a good window because it was early on the window. I didn't want to be too harsh on Arsenal. Like, come on, it's summertime. It's about good vibes. You know what I mean? Having a good time. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, if I can believe Man United can have a good window, why can't Arsenal? So I thought, yeah, the way that this has transpired is not good at all. They have not covered and sorted out key areas. They've still got players that, should they really be Arsenal's players, still at the club. El Neni, no talk of him leaving. Granit Xhaka about to get a new contract because you can't offload him. Is Kolasinac still at your club?
Yeah.
Kolasinac is still there.
He got relegated with Schalke last year. Getting chased by fans.
It's so mad how Arsenal have not taken advantage of this transfer window. Because I thought, they could, shift some players off for cheaper. We understand that, obviously, buying clubs right now in a weaker position. But then you could also get players for cheaper who can replace them for cheap too. Like Lokonga deal was a great deal. You would have thought, get Lokonga in, get El Neni out, perfect stuff. Now they're coming into the first game of the season. No Aubameyang, no Lacazette, no new right back, no new central midfielder. I think they've got, is Partey injured as well or not available? Like this is not good. And it's peak because I genuinely thought maybe Arsenal will change their ways. I've always called Eddie a fraud, but his fraudness is coming out now, you know what I mean? And I kind of feel for Arteta because obviously he's a limited manager as he is now. He needed all the support and they've shafted him. They have shafted him big time.
Yeah, Arteta needs to resign at this point if they're not going to back him because he's ruining his career.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there. I see through that one, Hancock.
I'm not even joking. I've said it.
I see you, Hancock.
No, I'm not doing nothing. I'm being dead out serious. If the man is going to stand out there and do a press conference and say they're backing him or they're even supporting him at any way.
Man, loads of managers do this every day.
Listen. We all know that Haaland was Chelsea's #1 target this summer. But what's Tuchel going to come out and say? He's going to say that Lukaku is the #1 target. He made a joke today about signing Lukaku and Haaland and having Lewandowski in that number 10 position. It's actually been confirmed by the agent today that Lewandowski was offered to Chelsea before they heavily pursued the Lukaku situation. This is the thing. Clubs are always going to say these things. The last thing you want as a club when you're not well run is your manager coming out and falling on his sword in that way. Do you know why? Because they'll just sack him and I'll bring in a manager that said, listen, you do that, you're sacked as well. And it's back to square one again. And look, maybe that's what you're asking for. There you go. Maybe that's your way of saying Arteta out.
When Arteta gets sacked, it wasn't his fault. It's because he didn't get backed. If he got backed, he would have been better.
Listen, you can be upset about everything surrounding the club and still support whoever's in charge.
Yo, it looks like tears about to come down your face, bro. Are you good?
No,
I mean, he's worried about Brentford. He's worried about Brentford tonight.
Are you worried about the game tonight? Are you worried about the game tonight?
Listen, in one hand, let me just tell you guys this. This game is set up for the upset. This is Arsenal versus a team that got promoted in their new stadium who've never played in the Premier League on a Friday. Every single person's watching this. This is on Sky Sports at 8 o'clock prime time. Everyone's chilling at home watching this for the first game of the season. And Arsenal are going in without their main striker. They're going in without their second striker. They've gone into a window where they haven't solved every area that's needed. We're going in with the fans still being toxic on top of the manager. And knowing all this, we're facing a Brentford team that are known for being attacking at home. So it's set up perfectly for the upset. But at the same time, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm never going to pick us to lose, but I can see how things could go wrong.
Yeah, I hear you on that. There is some more news that I want to bring up here right now as well, as we can see. This is from the Beautiful Game podcast. Now, these gentlemen have some amazing contacts within the game, especially with young players from the London-based area as well. And they're claiming here that Balogun is set to start his first Premier League match tonight against Brentford. Big up the guys over there at the Beautiful Game podcast. You see, this is look at that, it's blowing up already. You can see, I'm going to that retweet as well and support the boys over there. That's growing already. I mean, that's going to be an interesting one, an exciting one for everybody to see, think, and feel about in relation to that. Maybe getting his first start of the season. Viewers, hit that like and that share button for us, please. Right about now, subscribe to the channel as well. What did you make of that, Jess? Like, are you excited to see Balogun start?
I am excited to see him start, to be honest. I think everybody, well, if you guys don't know, I don't really rate Aubameyang right now or Lacazette. So it's annoying for them not to be here because it causes drama. Like we instantly saw like different outlets coming out with, oh, well, they're trying to sell Aubameyang and all this kind of stuff. And that's annoying when you're about to start the season. But yeah, I'm excited for Balogun to start. I think some people will be, well, since Martinelli's not starting, Arteta has an agenda against him. That's not true. He's not a number 9 at the moment. So yeah, and I think we're better with our younger players because our younger players are better than the older ones. So we'll see. I do think that, you know, there's a chance that he has some issues. I mean, he's like 18, so he's not going to be perfect, but hey, it is what it is. You just got to keep rolling with it. Does Balogun have the same amount of chances to score as Aubameyang at this point? Yeah, I would say so. Aubameyang is, wow, shocking.
Yeah, aren't you guys happy that we're not playing with a false 9? That's the first thing I'm thinking about because this could have been Villarreal all over again.
Willian would have been a better option than this Balogun.
Yeah, Willian would be great. Super chat here says, wait, did the transfer window close today? I guess I mixed up the 31st of August with the 13th of August, what Wayne has got to say here. We have some more super chats to jump into. I may have missed them, to be fair. I know I didn't. No, I didn't. I got them all. Where are they? I can't wait to get a director on these shows. 3 deals have been good. The window hasn't ended. If it had ended today, then I would be worried. Igal, call your jets. And KJ Arteta has had United's number since he took over. David is annoying, by the way.
Can I just say to
that is my favorite. That's my favorite compliment. If someone calls me annoying, I'm like, yes, doing my job.
Don't fuel him. That commentary. I've echoed that thought all summer. I've been patient all summer, but at this point, I can see the writing on the wall. I'm starting to get worried. And if you're not getting worried as a fan, I have to question what's going on in your brain.
I think there's worried and then there's like hysteria. And I think we're bordering on just straight up hysteria.
We're bordering. You're on the plane.
Gal's gone menstrual, bruv. Gone menstrual. Pav here says you had Real, I can't pronounce the surname, skimming cash off the transfer deals allegedly. And you have Edu wasting funds on trash. Who's the worst out of the two of them?
I saw this one pop up. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's use facts. Like, is Lakanga trash? No. Like, what do you mean? Is Gabriel trash?
No. The winner before.
Okay, so like, Willian.
He's bought in the Willians. He's bought in what?
What else?
Gabriel it's been okay. Like, it hasn't been great.
Is it trash though? See, that's what I'm saying with you guys. It's the binary. It's the binary.
It's not great, though, is it?
But trash means that they're trash.
Well, he's calling Edu a fraud, and you think he's a fraud, so.
Because my issue with Edu is not what he's brought in, is what he has not brought in.
No, I back Jess on this in the sense of Jess is it's a bit like with the with Ollie. Like me and you would say, KJ would say he's probably not good enough to win us a league. But we wouldn't discredit everything that he's done. I think that's what Jess is saying there. Thank you for the super chat, Pav. Keenan here says, yesterday on Jesse's podcast, I said that Ings and Watkins would outscore Aubameyang and Laka, and I got laughed out the building. Looks like I could be right. Well, if they're not playing, you're definitely going to be right, my brother. Thank you for that super chat.
They were better. I'll go back.
There we get the truth. Mike Hill says, question for Igal. Who would your dream realistic signing be, Igal?
Dream realistic signing. Does Igal know how to compute these things?
I would prefer we go for Maddison over Odegaard.
Realistic.
That's realistic because we have had talks with him and we have we have people working in the background trying to get this deal done. Now, when it comes to right back, I think Norwich's right back, Max Aarons, would be a realistic target at this point, but I don't know if they would sell him. And when it comes to goalkeeper, I think everyone knows we want Onana, but if we can't get Onana, I would have gone for Freddie Woodman at Newcastle. But it looks like
fair enough.
That was so random. I didn't expect you to say Freddie Woodman.
There we go. We have a bit more breaking news now. This is going to be very interesting to Manchester United fans, ladies and gentlemen. Raphael Varane out and about in Manchester doing I don't know what he's doing, shopping probably and driving, just topping up. Well, look, by the looks of that picture there, he's getting some cash out the ATM. That's what that one.
Nah, he's trying to find his own announcement
in Manchester, doing whatever it is he's doing. The maddest thing is I kind of get the announcement because he signed the contract. He's been training for the past 2 days, but United haven't released a video. Me and Dean were talking about it earlier. We're saying I've stopped focusing on it, but a lot of Man United fans are panicking. He was never going to play in the first game because he hasn't trained with the squad enough. But there we go. There we go. One of them ones there. But listen, ladies and gentlemen.
No, Terry, you can't end here. No.
Why?
I've got a bone to pick with you, my brother.
Are you talking about
you're a person that's all about the truth and letting the fans know what's real and what's fake and what's
it was a
BS,
joke.
Yeah. Listen. We did not have breakfast together.
We didn't.
We didn't have breakfast.
KJ, sorry, KJ, but everybody knew it was a joke, bro.
No. You can't trust people on the internet, bro. They already think I'm 5'1", and that's a lie. So.
Let me just say this now. KJ is not 5'1". He's 5 foot flat. 5 foot flat, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Straight 5 foot.
We didn't have breakfast. We had lunch, and he had a kid's fish finger meal. That are the facts.
That is.
We did, bro. We did.
Boy, this guy loves lying on this, and this is why they call you the king of clickbait, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There we go. It's true. KJ. Do you know what I mean? KJ and his kid fish fingers. That's truth. Listen, I mean, Jake, that didn't happen. Just in case anyone needs full disclosure, KJ was gone before I even woke up, bro, because I was passed out. Do you know what I mean? I was finished. One of them ones. KJ looked after me in the night. He made sure that I remained in charge of the football terrace, is what I'm going to say. I remained in charge of the football terrace. You know what I'm saying? Bits, bro. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. We're back live tonight after the game between Arsenal and Brentford. We're going live straight after the football match. This stream is going to take you across to that stream for the match reaction. It's already set up. Go across there now. Put your bookmarks in. Get it liked. Get ready. We want to see you at full time. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.